Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. Today is Friday, May 26, 2023. The sun is in Gemini. The moon is in Leo. It's very fiery, friendly, loving, sharing vibe right now. Friday is ruled by Venus, so that's no surprise. This is the day where you get to sort of start focusing on what we would enjoy, what we like having, and especially since Venus is in Cancer, we're really enjoying the closeness of the people that we have at home with us, right? We're enjoying our home spaces, and we just want them to be elegant and well appointed, and we want them to contain the people and things that we like, love, and can't get enough of. So, yeah, Venus has got some action today. It's going sextile to Uranus. So, don't be surprised if you have a pleasant surprise in love, friendship, or even finances at this time. That vibe's going to linger with us through the second. So I want to introduce to you the card that sits on the side of the page. That is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is here because it corresponds with the first 10 days of the sun's transit here in the land of Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and swords in tarot represent air element symbolism. Air element symbolism is about your thoughts, plans, and communications, the way that you talk yourself or other people into or out of things, right? Your persuasive voice, your planning strategic mind. So here we have the Eight of Swords. You see this person looks pretty miserable, bound up kind of loosely with a blindfold, standing in this sort of muddy, wet area that feels pretty like cold. It looks like cold and damp, right? Which is pretty miserable feeling. And you got that gray sky back there and all these swords hanging around, and there's this sort of city, town, castle, institutional thing behind you. So the Eight of Swords is really, about not being able to see how you got into this situation and feeling miserable and not thinking you know the way out as well. And, often, especially, as adults, the things that we do, the choices we make, those are the things that get us in these situations, right? Whether we have allowed somebody to persuade us or we have persuaded ourselves that some person, place, or thing was the ideal thing for us to sort of link ourselves to, having done so, then we feel a little bit trapped. We feel a little bit like, I thought that this was going to be beautiful for me, but now I don't feel like I can express myself, and I don't know how to turn around or get up or even walk out of here. So, the truth of the matter about the Eight of Swords is it's all about what you tell yourself. It's all about what you think and plan and communicate. So, if you have made promises that you're not able to keep, if you have made commitments to things that leave you feeling trapped and unexpressed, you're going to have to tell the truth in one way or another, okay, so that you can extricate yourself from this miserable situation. And, we all do this from time to time. It's not it's not abnormal. There are not very many things in the tarot deck that you would find sort of abnormal in a human life, but just recognize that, if you talked yourself into something, or if you allowed somebody else to persuade you into something, you can probably persuade your way out of it as well. Okay. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. Oh, we got the Death card. We're dealing in the energies today, friends. So, Death is a major arcana card. It's not a card that indicates death. It's a card that indicates change and the inevitability of change. You see that Death here almost appears to be wearing a blindfold while riding this horse. Is very similar to the regular Rider-Smith-Waite deck. And so, Death isn't really paying attention to where he's walking, right? And there's a king here laying on the ground, and there are these people sort of praying or, trying to sort of make friends or trying to just look away and not want to see what's happening, right? But here's the thing. It's the change comes for us all, okay? And it's not the change's fault. Right? It's not death's fault that everybody eventually dies, and it's not change's fault that everybody eventually has to go through some change, right? So there's a river here in the middle distance, and then another sort of cliff wall to surmount to get toward the sunshine there in the distance, right? And this is just saying, you can't avoid change. It's coming to us all. You can accept it. You can deny it. You can hope to manipulate it, or hope to, sort of mitigate the effects of change in your life. But you will go through those changes no matter what. So where are we seeing this on the page? Well, we have this grand fixed cross that we're dealing with right now. And it's North Node and South Node. North Node is in Taurus, giving us this sort of cultural trajectory toward safety, toward security, toward the kind of abundance we need to feel, the kind of support we need to feel. So it sort of feels like the work we're doing in the world is worthwhile, right? There are a lot of conversations just in the mundane world about the rates that people pay, the rates that people are paid, whether it's worth the work that they're being asked to do, right? There are a lot of debates over like what should be affordable right now, especially here in the US. So and how you should be able to afford those things as well. So that's very much on our mind, and it's the direction we're trying to go in terms of making sure that we each individually and so collectively have what we need to get by, to survive, the material stuff, the roof over your head, the food in your mouth, etc. And the North Node is always opposite the South Node. The South Node is about where you've been, what you've already accomplished, what you've already mastered. And we've mastered over the last few years, and especially over the last year and a half. We've Scorpio, we've mourned a lot of loss, right? We have we lost a lot of human beings during the COVID crisis, and we've also lost a lot of human beings just between now and then in terms of the gun violence in the United States. There are a lot of human lives being lost all around the world while all of this conflict rages. And look, this is something we've sort of gotten used to, right? This isn't something that, it's not necessarily all behind us, but it is definitely something that we have sort of gained some mastery over. And that's where the death card comes in, right? Like we understand that things change radically, very quickly sometimes in your life. We understand that, we can mourn our losses, but we can't avoid them at this point. So that's sort of the trajectory and sort of what we can fall back on. A lot of us are falling back on that, right? And then you've got the other part of this grand fixed cross is Mars opposite to Pluto. So that is the conflict. It's the fire. It's the inner conflict. It's the interpersonal conflict, communities, collectives, and even nations at war with each other at this point, or at war within themselves at this point. So this is the conflict we're trying to balance. And all of the messaging, okay, all of the messaging, Jupiter is over here, even conjunct to the North Node, saying, look, you can have nice things, you can have security, okay, if you focus on collective security. You can have progress in your life, you can have growth in your life if you also focus on collective growth, okay? We are individuals and we are part of a collective, and we are outward facing, like real life people where the sun shines, and we are also internally, we have our own internal stuff going on, and in cultural wide, worldwide, we also have a collective subconscious, right? So inside and outside, as above, so below, okay? If you focus on the expansion you want, the growth that you want, okay? If you focus on that renaissance we've been embracing, we've been looking forward to, toward having more of that physical security, but also just having less conflict and more more cooperation, more growth in our lives. If you can focus your thoughts, your words, your actions in that direction, then, you know, the changes will still come, okay? But maybe some of them will not be quite as tragic or upsetting. And so I put this together with the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords, you know, one thing you can characterize this card as being is afraid of making a change, right? Like, I'm just standing out here in the cold. I don't feel expressed. I can't see how I got here. I'm pretty miserable. I don't know how to get out of this, but I'm afraid to do anything about it, right? I'm afraid to take the wrong step and fall on my face in the mud. I'm afraid to, you know, tell the truth about what I want now that I know that this isn't it, and that the changes will be so big that I can't handle them, or they will mean so much loss for me that it's not worth having made the change. Okay, but if you're in this situation where you're completely unexpressed and you're miserable and you're cold and the wind is blowing and there's nobody there apparently to help you, then you've got to help yourself. Okay, you've got to be the change bringer. Okay, you've got to be death on the horse, just riding out like, okay, this isn't going to work, so I'm going to move on. And the changes that will follow from that, some of them will be sad or unfortunate, and the change and then some of them will be very happy, and they'll bring you new joy and new self-expression and a new way of approaching life where you don't have to sort of be stuck with all of these commitments and promises to things that don't support you and don't uplift you and don't help you have a voice. All right, I think that's what I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate your presence here. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It all helps me out a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.